crucial reason: foreign competition. May I restate that? May I state it in just one word? China, China, China. How has China had so much influence on our economy? Let's look at some of their methods and see if we can learn from them. First, focusing on long-term goals. James McGregor, former chairman of the American Chamber of Commerce in China, described it this way: one key thing we can learn from China is setting goals, making plans, and focusing on moving the country forward. End of quotation. An example of this is the fact that China is in the midst of building high-speed rail lines. Heard this in the news recently? High-speed rail lines. They're doing 10,000 miles of high-speed rail lines in China. I commend President Obama for proposing more high-speed rail lines in the United States. But my thought is, why didn't we build them 20 or 30 years ago, before development blocked some of these potential routes for high-speed rail lines? Again, quoting Mr. McGregor, we used to build stuff too, but now it's not in my backyard every time you try to do something. End of quotation. Some economists believe we have shortchanged infrastructure for years, maybe even decades. Last year's $787 billion stimulus bill, probably you know, included only $144 billion for direct infrastructure spending. A similar plan in China put almost half of the spending into infrastructure. Now, I don't want to second guess where the money is going in the United States, but isn't it common sense to put as much as possible into what they call shovel-ready projects of repairing roads, repairing bridges, repairing other structures or buildings or what have you that are government-owned that need to be repaired, and get those jobs created as soon as possible? Second, improve education. Would you believe that the literacy rate in China is higher than the United States? Mm-hmm. It is over 90% compared to 86% in the United States. Chinese students reportedly spend twice as much time on homework as their U.S. peers. William McCahill, former deputy chief of mission at the U.S. Embassy in Beijing, says, quote, "They are getting the basics right, particularly in math and science. Their kids are often ahead of ours." End of quotation. Now, we've probably had many speeches, and we'll have many more speeches on how to improve our education system in the United States. So I'm not going to try to do this today. I will not give any suggestions for that today. And third and lastly, save more. Save more. Why does the U.S. need to learn a little frugality? It is because healthy savings rates, including government and business savings, are one of the surest indicators of a country's long-term financial health. High savings lead over time to increased investment, which in turn generates productivity gains, innovation, and job growth. In short, savings are the seed corn of a good economic harvest. The U.S. government needs to get in on the act too, of course. By running perennial deficits, it is dissaving. Peter Orszag, President Obama's budget director, recently called the U.S. budget deficits unsustainable, and he is right. So far, the U.S. has been unable to have what Indiana Governor Mitch Daniels calls an adult conversation about the consequences of spending more than we take in. That needs to change. China has nearly $2 trillion in foreign currency reserves. And they're getting concerned about the devaluation of the U.S. dollar, mainly due to our annual deficits. In summary, the U.S. should, 1, focus on long-term goals, 2, improve education, and 3, save more. Toastmasters.